She's so beautiful and translucent. I love her so. Candied citrus peel party. We are making candied citrus peel. It's so delicious. It's so scrumptious. You're gonna love it. You also might notice I am in a full-blown cocktail dress frock currently. Here's the deal. We're not out. There's no holiday parties. At least there shouldn't be. Don't have any holiday parties. You better wear a mask, unless they're over Zoom, in which case, like, fine. But my point here is this. We're not out and about. We're not doing this stuff this holiday season. And I just don't believe that just because we're not out and we're not enjoying holiday parties and looking sexy and drinking too much, that we can't sass it up at home. So here I am in this kitchen. This is not my kitchen. I don't live here. So I'm in a stranger's home in a cocktail dress, making some candied citrus peel. And I'm telling you, you should try it. Here's the deal. We got a bunch of peel here, all right? There's really no like perfect way to do this. Vegetable peel, citrus, just peel, right? Simple, okay? It's up to you on how big you want your pieces. You can make your pieces like big kind of petals like this, or similar to what I did here with the lime, you can chop them up and make them really nice and small like this. There's a lot of ways you can do this. I will show you. The more white, the more pith you have on your citrus, the more bitter it's gonna be. So to cut the bitterness of our candied citrus peel, we're actually gonna boil it. So here's the deal. If you wanna do something like this, where you wanna like candy this entire thing, perfectly fine, but you're gonna have to boil it maybe once or twice or 3 times to cut the bitterness. The more pith you have, the longer you're gonna have to boil. We've got our bigger petals here, and then we've got our sort of smaller chop here. And it doesn't really matter how you do this, like whether you want big pieces, really, really tiny, small pieces, or you want huge, like actual rings of citrus, the process is still the same. So we've got some water here. The water doesn't have to be boiling, it just has to be really hot. And we're just gonna take it right in. I'm gonna let this boil in here for about 5 minutes. Since we were careful when we were peeling these to only get the peel and not a ton of pith, we're only gonna need to boil this just 1 time. Now a quick note, some people will say, make sure when you're doing candied citrus peel, you're using organic citrus. I think that's a great piece of advice, but let me tell you what, as we know, organic food isn't accessible for everyone. And in the name of food waste, this is a really, really, really great trick to do, whether you have conventional or organic citrus peel. So the great thing about candied citrus peel is it lasts in your pantry. You can add it on top of desserts. It's like a cute little snack. You can add to perhaps like a desserty trail mix. I'm not quite sure what the hell trail mix is for or why it exists, but it's delicious. You do want to make sure that before you do this candied citrus peel, that you give your citrus a good little scrub. Just a little, you know, just get all the grit off of it, right? Because we're gonna be eating the outside. You don't know who's touched this, who's licked this, who's dropped this, who's squeezed this. You don't know, right? It's the time of Corona. You can never be too careful. So the way you know that this is kind of done, if you take a bite and it's really bitter still, you're gonna need to strain it and then do another pot of boiling water. This one is gonna be perfectly fine though. In this pot, I'm actually doing oranges and tangerines and grapefruit. So we're gonna let this do its thing for about 3 more minutes. Who likes to party? I don't know. We're gonna take our situation station. You can see here our citrus. It's become sort of translucent, right? Now at this stage, if you want to, you can chop at this stage. If your peels are super, super thick, they're still gonna be bitter. So you're gonna have to boil another pot of water and do this whole process again. So we're gonna put these in a tiny little saucepan. Turn this about medium heat. We are gonna add, I'm gonna say this is about a half a cup of grapefruit juice, right? We already peeled a bunch of grapefruits for this anyway, so like what the hell, right? We're gonna toss that in. And then we're gonna do another cup of water here. And then here's the doozy. We're gonna add a lot of sugar. Guys, it's a lot of sugar, okay? I don't normally do all this sugar, but listen, I got needs. I got needs. I know you got needs. We all got needs. I'm calling it like I see it. I need this. You probably need this too. So it's a cup and a half of sugar. It's just regular ass white sugar, y'all. I'm telling you something. You don't wanna use regular sugar? Don't. You can use brown sugar, you can use coconut sugar. I'm actually gonna show you a few different examples. Listen, variety is the spice of life. There's more than one way to do something, okay? And this situation station's gonna come to a little bit of a boil. But when it comes to a boil, we're gonna bring it down to a low boil, and we're gonna just let this do what it does for an entire hour. 60 minutes. I know it seems like a long time, but trust me, it's worth it. After that 60 minutes has passed, we're gonna lay out our citrus on this rack. Now, listen to me. I had a beautiful, gorgeous, fine mesh rack, but I forgot it at my house. I'm using a dish rack. You gotta like call in a favor from MacGyver. Sometimes it just be like that, okay? So I wouldn't normally use the underside of a dish rack, but it's been a long week. After 60 minutes, we're gonna strain our citrus peels out. We're gonna put our simple syrup in a little bottle, and we're gonna save the simple syrup. We're gonna savor it because that simple syrup, ooh! Put a little simple syrup over a waffle, pancake, oatmeal, chia seed pudding. Honestly, whatever you want, really. See how it's getting nice and thick? But the key here is you do not want this boiling. You bring it up to a boil, then you bring it down to a simmer, and you definitely want these to be super nice and translucent. I'm gonna see you in 60 minutes, okay? Our situation has become translucent. It is so beautiful. Check her out. She's so beautiful and translucent. We got a mixture of tangerine, orange, grapefruit, so good. So let's make sure we get all of our beautiful peel out. Now be careful. Sugar, it gets hot. I'm gonna press out all this simple syrup here. Now, let's have a simple syrup conversation, yeah? So this is basically a grapefruit sugar syrup. That's basically what this is. Make sure you let it cool before you put it in a squeeze bottle or any kind of like refrigerator safe container. Like I said, normally you would not be using the underbelly of a silverware storage, what you call this, Dee? Drawer organizer? Is that it? She's Googling. Yeah, utensil organizer. I'm happy to call it that. All right, we would normally use a nice fine mesh rack, but I left mine at home. So we're gonna take our citrus peel and we're gonna lay it out. Look at that. Oh, are you kidding? Here's the thing, you could just eat this as is. You could just lay this out, give this a moment, an opportunity to dry, but we're actually gonna roll it in a little bit more sugar so it gets that beautiful kind of sugary coating. But first you wanna let this dry just about 20 minutes. Now it's important that you don't let it dry too much because we wanna make sure that the little bit of sugar that we dust on this has an opportunity to stick. So here is our delicious, sugary, yummy, grapefruity simple syrup. So it's cooled, so we're just gonna add it to a little squeeze bottle, and then we can keep this in our refrigerator, add it to cocktails, mocktails, put it all over your face, whatever you want, squeeze it all over your body. Now we've got our candied citrus. Now, it is sticky to the touch. Here's the deal. If you wanted to just leave your candied citrus as is and didn't want to drizzle it with more sugar, that's totally fine. As Tabitha Brown says, it's your business. I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that we're over a wire rack, and I'm just gonna drizzle, okay? I'm just gonna, see this, see me drizzling? Some would say, take this off the rack completely, put it in a bowl, just dump a bunch of sugar on it and kind of work it with your hands, work it in with a spoon. I don't want this to be completely saturated in sugar. And so you're still gonna leave this on the rack, guys. You're gonna let this do its thing 8 hours. I know that seems like a lot, but I mean, it's a small price to pay for this level of deliciousness. Now I wanna show you some different types of candied citrus peel because I want you to know there's more than one way to get to delicious. We have some candied citrus that is really chopped up really small. You only have to boil it for about 60 seconds to get the bitterness out. And then here is some candied citrus peel that I used coconut sugar. And I chopped this up really small, and I just julienned them, almost like little pieces of confetti they are. Aren't they so cute? Did you see me like just become Yoda right there? Almost like little pieces of confetti they are. The great thing about this is when you chop it up, they almost get kind of like sturdy. They become like actual candy, which is so nice. This is fabulous for topping ice cream or yogurt. You can absolutely do the exact same technique I just did using coconut sugar. Just know that when you use coconut sugar, your candied citrus will be very dark. If you want to use brown sugar, that's totally cool, but it will also be on the darker side. If you want to keep the integrity of the citrus peel in terms of color and vibrancy, your best bet is just sugar. I know a cup and a half of sugar, it's a lot. A cup and a half of sugar, a cup of water, and a half a cup of any kind of citrus juice. I use grapefruit. You don't gotta use grapefruit. You can use orange, okay? You can use a little mango juice, a little pomegranate juice. Just know whatever you put it in, there's a chance it will alter the color, and you'll see as it sits out to dry. I mean, it dries pretty quick. Like it becomes like really nice and crispy. Big pieces like this are really nice if you're gonna decorate a cake or a pie. My favorite way to use candied citrus though is to dress up a cocktail. Yum, yum, yum. Or if you have a compote situation, probably my favorite compote is a cranberry compote because I love things really nice and tart. Citrus really goes nice with it. You know what else you can do with candied citrus? You can put it in salad. You could also work this into braising liquid. If you're cooking any protein or meat, just right at the end, say you're braising something with a little red wine, or you're braising something with a little vinegar, just throw in a little candied citrus, and that sweetness mixed with a little acidity is really, really nice. Honestly, sky's the limit for candied citrus peel, okay? Sky's the limit for wearing cocktail and formal attire at home for no good reason at all. And I just want you guys to know, in the name of full transparency, like listen, I got pants on under this. I got my sneakers on, but you know, I just want to jazz it up a little bit for you. It's because I love you. Because I love you. Ain't that something? Don't you want to put that on your bread? So good.